Well, good day, dear children. And today what we're going to do with you is the topic on phrases and clauses. Believe me, children, many a time a child finds it rather, tedious and difficult to understand this very, very simple topic, Let's deal with phrases and clauses in this particular session, children. It's a session where we're going to identify not just phrases and clauses, but before we do phrases and clauses, what we are going to deal with is a sentence. Now, it's only when we know what is a sentence, children, will we be able to identify a phrase and a clause. Because phrases and clauses are very integral parts of a sentence. So without much ado, let's go forward with great enthusiasm. Let's go forward and learn this chapter on phrases and clauses. Well, kids, as I said, when we study phrases and clauses, what we need to study first? We need to study what is a sentence. So before studying phrases, children, we have to get our concepts clear on what is a sentence, because the problem lies in making a sentence with words, but words that don't connect, or they do connect but in a very lopsided manner, and they don't make perfect sense. So when we're writing a sentence, children, we got to remember certain things. For example, a sentence always begins with a capital letter. Let us say that, let us take a sentence. My mother cooks food. Full stop. Now, what we have noted in this particular sentence is that, children, we started the sentence with a capital letter. That's so important, because if we don't start with a capital letter, how are we going to identify whether the sentence starts from here? Second, the words in a sentence must be written in a proper order. Suppose I write the words like this: my food, mother cooks. Well, it's a sentence. You do get the meaning of that sentence, but is it a properly framed sentence? No, children. Then I would perhaps give you an exercise which says, put the jumbled words into, a proper order, rearrange the words to make a very proper sentence. So what we need to remember, the second very important part of a sentence, not only that it begins with a capital letter, children, but also that the words following make logical sense and they are placed in the correct order. Now, sentence ends with a full stop. Very importantly, we need to have a punctuation mark, children. Not necessarily would it be a full stop. Now, it could be a question mark, children, like, where are you going? I can't have a full stop for that particular sentence because I'm asking you a question. Now, then that case, we need a question mark. But if I'm asking you a question out of surprise, did you really win the match? Surprised. Now, that I will end with an exclamation mark. So a sentence has to have some kind of a punctuation mark, children. What is important is a punctuation mark. Only when you have the punctuation mark at the end of a sentence, maybe even a comma, children. A comma indicating that the sentence is continuing. But we need to have some kind of a punctuation mark at the end of a sentence. Now, a sentence always has a verb in it. Verb is here, children, cooks. Now, what is a verb, children? Let me ask you a question. What is a verb? Now, the simple definition is verb is a doing word. And in this particular exercise, well, I'm not going into the different parts of a verb or the different types of a verb, children. Well, all we need to know is the action words. They are called verbs. But we have another kind of a verb. They are known as the auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verbs are like is, are, was, were. Children, these are some of the auxiliary verbs. They are also verbs, children. So remember, a sentence has to have a verb in the sentence. If you have a sentence, children, let me take my mother food. Ooh, it's not going to make sense, children, right? My mother food. No. Give me food. Then give is a verb. So children, we need to have a verb in every sentence that we make. In every sentence that we utter, there has to be a verb. So now this tells us exactly what is a sentence. What are the criteria required for a particular sentence. Right, kids? I hope you've got this correct now. Well, kids, now we come to the topic, and that is phrases. Now, what is a phrase? And I told you in the beginning, phrases and clauses, very much a part of a sentence. But now let's deal with phrases, kids. What is a phrase? As you can see, they are a group of words, children. Group of words which do not make complete sense. And if I have to make complete sense of them, children, I need to add before or after. I need to add a couple of words, in order to complete a sense of the sentence and make the phrase into a sentence. So what is a phrase, children? Merely groups of words which do not make complete sense. Okay? For example, over the bridge. Now remember, a phrase firstly does not have a verb. Over the bridge. Over is, children, the preposition, because it is showing us a position. The position is over the bridge. Now we have to add something. Who was over the bridge? What is happening over the bridge? We've got to add something to make the sense complete. So what we have added? The boy ran over the bridge. Now, I've added these particular words to the over the bridge, and the sentence is complete. So what is a phrase? A phrase is merely a group of words that do not make any sense, but they do not have a verb. They do not have a subject. Now here, children, ran is the verb. In the second sentence, an accident took place. Took is the verb, children. The phrase we have is near the bus stop. Now what happened near the bus stop? Okay, there was a market near the bus stop. Okay, or what happened? An accident took place near the bus stop. A robbery took place near the bus stop. Okay, or whatever. There's something that took place at the bus stop. Now, at the bus stop or near the bus stop, that is not a sentence, because, children, there's no verb in this. Near is again a preposition. It is showing the position. It is showing the position where? Near the bus stop. Okay, but what happened? Now, what happened? An accident. Took is the verb, beta. Accident is the subject. The boy is the subject. A sentence will have a subject. A sentence will have a verb. So here your accident is a subject. Took is the verb. near the bus stop is your phrase. So we have turned this phrase into a sentence by what, children? By adding a subject and by adding a verb. So what is a phrase, children? A phrase is a group of words that do not make complete sense. Remember, they are without a verb, they are without a subject. Two things that they miss. They don't have, children. So that is called as a phrase. And in case you want to complete a phrase and make a phrase into a sentence and a proper sentence, well, you have to use a proper subject and a proper verb. Then your phrase becomes into a sentence. Got it, kids? Well, kids, now we've studied what is the definition of a phrase. And now let's get a little bit forward, children, and study exactly what are the different types of phrases that we have. Ooh, isn't it great, children? First, you know what is a phrase, a group of words that don't make sense. And, now you have to study these groups of words are what kind of phrases. Now, the group of words, they are an adjective phrase, you have an adverb phrase, and you have a noun phrase. Now, before we go into the phrase part of it, what is an adjective, children? Remember, adjectives are words that add meaning. Children, what do? They add meaning. They add meaning to a noun. They add meaning to a noun. Like it tells you what the noun is like about. Like, for example, a chain. What kind of a chain? A golden chain. A dress. A beautiful dress. So what kind of a dress? Beautiful. So beautiful becomes into an adjective. Now the phrase that we have, we've got to recognize, is it an adjective phrase? So when we find out the noun, we'll see, is it describing some noun? Now, what is an adverb? Adverb is adding meaning to a verb. He is running. How is he running? He's running fast. How is he walking? Slowly. How is he dancing? Gracefully. How is she singing? She is singing beautifully, melodiously. Now, words that describe the action we are doing, that is known as an adverb. And then, children, what is a noun? Nouns are names. Names of persons, place, animals, things, emotions, ideas. They're all termed as noun. So now we're going to see and know and learn how we're going to identify them as nouns. Now, kids, let's get down to a phrase that acts as an adjective in a sentence is called an adjective phrase. Now, let us take the examples. Fearless man. Man is the noun. What kind of a man? He is a fearless man. Fearless is describing the noun. So fearless becomes into an adjective. Now this is an adjective. How am I going to convert it into a phrase? Now, a man without fear. Okay, to convert it into, children, a phrase. Now, it is a man without a fear. Man without fear. Now, look at the sentence. Man without fear. There is no subject here. Okay, there's no verb. So, man without fear, this is the phrase. Next is stone wall. What kind of a wall? What is the wall made up of? Stone. So, stone is identifying the noun wall. So, stone becomes the adjective. How are we going to make it into a phrase, children? Well, walls made of stone. Okay, let's take another example. Fearless has already been done. Now, a courageous boy. Now, what is the boy described as? Courageous. So, courageous, children, becomes into the adjective. Now, let's convert it into a phrase. A boy of great courage. Now, this is, children, the adjective phrase made from this particular adjective. So, when you have a phrase, children, identify who is this phrase talking about. Let us take a man without fear. What are we talking about? Fear or man? Obviously, we are talking about the man, children. And when we talk about the man, it's a noun. Noun, and fear is describing the noun. So, obviously, it's going to be an adjective phrase. Similarly, a wall. Now, a wall made of stone. Are we talking about the stones or we are talking about the construction of the wall? Well, wall is important. Wall is a noun and stone is identifying the wall or describing a wall, a stone wall. So, children, when you get a phrase, you have to use a little bit of your imagination, a little bit of your knowledge to know what are we talking about. And if we are referring to a noun and we are describing a particular noun, then it is known as an adjective phrase. Got it, kids? When you've known the meaning of an adjective, it's going to be easy to identify an adjective phrase, right? Well, kids, here we have two more kinds of phrases for you. The first one here we have is an adverb phrase. Now remember, what did I tell you? In adverb phrase, children, we have to see adverb is a word, which actually describes a verb. Like for example, abroad. Abroad means in a foreign country. Now what does abroad refer to? Living. Living is a verb. Okay, he lives abroad. Now, lives is a verb. Where does he live? He lives abroad, children. So, we are referring to not he. We are referring to lives abroad. Now, when I want to convert abroad into a phrase, then I will convert it in a foreign land. In a foreign land. So, similarly, children, we like annually. Annually is an adverb. Because, when is this event held? When is this event held? My emphasis is on the word held, children. When is this event held? This event is held annually. Held is a verb because we're referring to when the action took place. The action took place annually. Now, annually is made into a phrase every year. This event is held every year. Next, we have carefully. How did he do the work? Here we are asked, how do they do the work? How did he do his work? How did he do his assignment? Carefully. So, obviously, carefully is an adverb. So, when I will convert it into a phrase, I am going to use with care, or with care, children. So, this is the way we are going to identify, what are these words referring to in a foreign land, abroad. Obviously, it is asking to, where is he living? He is living abroad. Abroad means in a foreign land. How is he doing his work? He is doing his work carefully. So the word we are emphasizing on is work. How did he work? Work carefully. So children, when we refer to the work, to the verb, and the verb, is classified by the adverb, how is that particular action done? Then it's going to be what is called an adverb phrase. Now next we have noun. What is a noun, children? Basically, children, they are the names. Okay, names of animals, birds, things. Not exactly animals. When we're talking about the subject, children, now here it is. The phrase that acts as a noun in the sentence, we're talking about a noun. Now let's take the example. Then it's going to be mighty easy. I love reading comics. I is the subject, children, which is a pronoun. It's not a noun, it's a pronoun. Love is the verb. Now, what do you love? What do you love? I love reading comics. Reading comics, children. You know, here this is the noun phrase. This is the noun phrase. What do you love? By it's classified by the verb now, by the verb love. We like to listen to good music. Now here, listen to good music. What do you like? We like to listen because we is the pronoun. Like is the verb. What do we like? The word is what do you like? You are naming what you like, right? You are naming what you like. What do you like? To listen to good music. So this becomes into a noun phrase, children. I love reading comics. What do I love? Name the thing that you love. Well, I love reading comics. So what have I done, children? I have named. I have named what? The things that I love. So when we name certain things like this, it becomes into what is called the noun phrase. So kids, it's easy exactly to identify whether it's a noun phrase, whether it's an adverb phrase, or whether it is an adjective phrase. Look at the phrase, find out, ask in your mind the question, who is the important person here? What are we referring to out here? And once you get that, you can identify the phrases extremely easily. Let's work out a little bit of an exercise, children. Maybe we'll be able to understand it more clearly. Right, kids? Well, kids, it's quiz time and it's time for us to work out the exercise, after having understood all the different types of phrases and more importantly, what is a phrase? Now, let's do the first question, children. Now, in this sentence, replace wherever possible the adverb. The adverb has to be replaced by an adverb phrase. So we have to take an adverb phrase and we have to form the sentence. Now let us see what is an adverb first. Now an adverb is a word that actually tells us about the verb. And the verb is the word which actually denotes the action. Now, take the first sentence. She acted. What did she do? What is the action? Acted. How did she act? She acted unwisely. So, our adverb is unwisely. Now, how am I going to make it into a phrase? Now, I'm going to change the word unwisely and write the sentence as she acted in an unwise manner. Now, in this way, children, we get what is called an adverb phrase. Let's do the next sentence, kids. He answered politely. How did he answer? What is his action? Answering. How did he answer? Politely. Well, let's delete the word politely. It's an adverb, but we've got to make it into what is called an adverb phrase. So our statement will be, he answered in a polite manner. Next sentence, no such custom existed then. Now, our adverb is then. Now, how are we going to change this? No such custom existed at that time. We are going to, instead of then, we are going to use the word add the words at that time, meaning then. Okay, the man spoke angrily. Here, children, our adverb is angrily. So we are going to change it in the man spoke in an angry manner. Finally, children, he takes life seriously, children. So we are going to change the word seriously because seriously is actually our adverb. So how are we going to change it, children? He takes life in a serious way. Now, this makes an adverb into an adverb phrase. So when we have to convert it into an adverb into an adverb phrase, well, kids, this is the way we're gonna do it. Now let's see the following sentences. Now they've got the adjectives, replace the adjectives with an adjective phrase. Now first we have to identify the adjective. Now what is an adjective? As I previously told you, children, adjectives are words which actually describe about the noun. So let's identify the adjective and then make it into a phrase, right? Now, suddenly a furious storm began to blow. What kind of a storm, children? Furious. Furious becomes our adjective. So how are we going to change it? Suddenly a storm, we are going to add the words here, a storm of great ferocity suddenly a storm of great ferocity. So the word furious, children, we have deleted and we've used, instead of an adjective, we've used an adjective phrase. Now, he is an honorable man. Now we go at honorable is our adjective. So children, when we write this statement, we are going to change even the an. You know why? An is used before honorable, right? Because honorable is pronounced with a vowel sound, not honorable. No, kids. Though it is with an H, the H is silent. So we are going to write the sentence as, he is a man of great honor. He is a man of great honor. Next statement, children. It was a horrible sight. What kind of a sight? Horrible. So our word, our adjective is horrible. So what are we going to do? It was a sight of great horror. Next sentence. He is a professional cricketer. What kind of a cricketer is he? Professional. Now, here professional is our adjective. He is, now we're going to change this, children. We are going to make this into another sentence. Well, our sentence is going to read as, he is a cricketer by profession. Finally, we have, he is a homeless orphan. What kind of an orphan? A homeless. Homeless is, children, our adjective. Now, what are we going to write it as? He is an, and remember, because this is O, because it's a vowel, the A changes into an. He is an orphan without a home. The homeless children will be changed into without a home. So you've got it right, kids. Well, this is the way we're going to select first the adverb or the adjective, exactly what is asked of us, and then we're going to change the following sentences. I hope you've got this right, kids. We end here this particular session. So it's good day, goodbye, till we meet again. God bless you all, kids.